Hello, and welcome to our podcast,
Cut the Headlights.
Today is episode 2 of our second season, and we're going to be talking about the Chinese Grand Prix. So it was pretty exciting, but we're just going to start off with current news first. Honestly, there hasn't been that much.
There really hasn't been, except for a certain driver just being a menace in the media again, our absolute favorite, Liam Lawson.
Yeah, he's really been on top of it. Everybody else has been pretty chill, like minding their own business. Liam has been doing like everything he can to stay in the news, and it's not in a good way.
And that's because, for those who don't know, Liam Lawson is now the second driver at Red Bull, which has been the most dominant team these past few years. But he keeps doing like so bad. Like he's getting like 20th out of 20 places. And it's a terrible look for him. It's a terrible look for the team. And what's even worse is that his attitude is just pretty insufferable. If you don't remember last year at Checo Perez's home race, when he passed him, he flipped him off at his home race. And it was worse because it was like everyone knew he was trying to take Checo's seat. And it was
worked,
just so unprofessional.
Yeah, also last season he was like, because nobody was really liking him. He was having so much beef with like so many people, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to win." And now he's P18, P20, and then he didn't even finish the first race.
Yeah,
what is that?
Terrible. I really feel for him though. Like, listen, I don't like him. I dislike his personality strongly, but I'm never gonna like see somebody's dreams getting crushed in front of them and like be vengeful about it or be like, well, they deserve it. Like, it's so sad. Like, you worked for something your whole life just to fail at it so miserably and spectacularly in front of the entire world. Like, I don't like him, but I don't wish them this. This is something that's probably gonna have a toll on him for the rest of his life, knowing that his dream was in his grasp and maybe slipped away.
Yeah, I feel like it's just kind of hard because I was never like a Liam hater. He wasn't my favorite, but I never hated him like a lot of people started to. But it's also really just hard to defend his actions when he's saying all this. We found a quote earlier. I don't know if you have it written down, but he said something about Yuki and them being teammates.
Yeah, the exact quote, let me tell you.
Yes, it was insane. I heard it and I was like, who thinks of saying this?
Someone not very smart, somebody not in the interest of their career.
It's not loading.
Honestly, we're so
okay. It's okay. It's not loading, but it was basically, he was just saying like, oh, we've been teammates before. We've raced together in a ton of different series, and I've beaten him every time. Like, he's gotten his chance, and now it's my chance. So the beef between them is like not extreme, but
sorry,
really
my Wi-Fi is just like not a podcast stand.
Yeah. That's okay. But no, he's just been like really outspoken about that, and it just makes it so hard to defend him. Like, I think if he just had maybe had a better attitude, people would really be feeling for him.
For sure.
Because obviously there's no denying like that second seat is really stressful. We've seen like
every
Alex, we've seen Pierre, we've seen Sergio. Yeah, so it's not surprising.
Even if you look back at the olden days when Sebastian Vettel was in the first Red Bull seat and Mark Webber was in the second one, things just like did not go great for him. It's like destroyed him. So like this is definitely a bit of a cursed spot to be in.
Definitely.
And it's funny though, because a few weeks ago in an interview, Yuki was like, well, I'm in an RB and I'm doing pretty well, and some of the other drivers aren't. Like, I mean, look at Liam. And he was like, maybe I shouldn't say that. Yeah. But like, it was so funny because like my man knows he was robbed.
Yeah. But I feel like, unfortunately, as much as I'd love to see Yuki in that seat, I actually don't know if I would, because we've seen how it ends up.
I kind of don't want to anymore.
Like, I don't think that would be the best. But also, I just don't think, like, if Helmut Marko is at Red Bull, he's not letting Yuki into that seat. It's never going to happen. He needs to get out, like, completely. He needs to leave RB. He needs to escape.
And also, in addition to that, he's just doing so well in an RB, and this is what he's trained for, like, the whole break. To throw him into a Red Bull now would probably not be helpful and wouldn't be as fair to showcase his abilities as giving him like a solid amount of time to prepare. Maybe after the summer break or something, but like before Japan, which is the next race, which some people are speculating that is when they'll swap. That shouldn't happen. I don't think that's in Yuki's best interest, honestly.
Yeah, I think I don't think it's surprising that people are like making rumors. They're like, oh, Red Bull's gonna swap them. Red Bull's gonna drop Liam. We've seen it happen so many times in the past 2 seasons, but I don't think that they would do it so early.
Yeah.
Because
The shortest I saw earlier, the shortest time they've ever dropped a driver is Pierre Gasly after 12 races.
that's still like 12 races. We've had 2. Like, let's calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
Also, like Max even has admitted the car's not the best. It's not the fastest right now. And even though he's still getting good results, like he's not winning either. So then you think, oh my God, that's Max Verstappen. And he's not even on the podium. And now we have, Liam, who's relatively unexperienced. So it's also just not surprising. But I think like they'll obviously upgrade their car throughout the coming months. Like I'm sure Liam will kind of get into the groove, or at least he's getting better results.
Agreed, for sure.
But I don't think they're so extreme that they're gonna just drop him.
Yeah. So this weekend also was the first sprint weekend of the race, which, again, for those who don't know, it's pretty much a third of the length of a normal race and a third of the possible points are offered. But it's still on. I was gonna lie. I was gonna be like, it's an exciting chance to see how the drivers are doing and rack up some extra points, but it's not. I hate sprint races.
What? I love sprint races.
They're so boring. Like, why even watch them? Watch, like, because they're so dull.
Like a race. I mean, the way I think about it is like my life isn't going to be bad without a sprint race, but I mean, I don't watch practices. I think those are so boring. I watch qualifying and the race. So on a sprint weekend, you get 2 qualifyings and 2 races, which means I have double the stuff to watch.
No, on the contrary, you get excited. You're like, oh my God, this person's on pole. That's for a sprint race. Oh my God, this person got a win. It was only a sprint race.
Okay, she's the only one who thinks this because I saw that Lewis.
Max Verstappen himself hates sprint races.
Okay, well, what I was going to say is not about Max Verstappen. I was excited because Lewis Hamilton was on pole and Lewis Hamilton won. So I think it's a good thing, actually.
It was exciting for him, but wouldn't you have been so much more excited if that had happened in a race?
Well, obviously, but it didn't this weekend.
Oh,
but I think at least he got that win. I thought that was fun. It's 8 points. It'll never hurt.
What's really cool, though, is that not only is it his first win in Ferrari, it's also his first sprint win ever.
And Ferrari's first sprint win.
Which I was so surprised by. I was like, what do you mean Lewis Hamilton hasn't won a sprint race before? But, I mean, it makes sense because they weren't introduced until pretty recently. And in past years, with Max Verstappen being so overly dominant, there's just not been an opportunity for Lewis to get the sprint race. So it was a pretty cool milestone.
Yeah, like by the time the sprints were introduced, it was past the time where like Lewis was winning everything.
For sure.
So, but it's very exciting. Yeah. I was happy about it at least.
I was happy about it. It's just like I wasn't thrilled. Like I would have much rather seen his first Ferrari win come in an actual race.
Yeah, I never count it as like a win-win. Like when
it doesn't
when
even
Oscar
mean anything.
Won the Qatar sprint race in 2023, I don't think anybody counted that as like a win. It was a sprint win, but it wasn't like a race win. But I think that's also okay. Like
nothing. It
can be entertaining while also not being counted as a race win. It's still a kind of win.
It's a kind of win. Anyways, onto the real race with real people winners. McLaren took home a 1-2.
You sound upset, but it was their 50th 1-2 finish. I loved it. It was great. I was excited.
I was happy for them, but I really don't want to swap out Max Verstappen Red Bull dominance for McLaren dominance. Like, I'm so over that. Like, I don't want to watch a race and be like, well, it doesn't matter. It's just going to be the McLarens on the podium again. Like, I don't find that entertaining. And unless something happens like the Australian Grand Prix last weekend when Oscar spun out close to the end, like their car is so fast that nobody like against them even has a shot, which is a little boring to see, quite frankly. It gets a little dull. I mean, I don't know. It's only the second race of the season.
Yeah. What dominance? We've had 2 races.
But like it's like you can like sense it. Like
yeah, but I mean I love that. I like McLaren. I'm happy that they finally have like such a good car that you can see as like this is a great car. Sure. I love it. I love seeing them on the podium together. They just like look so happy to be there together. Also, it was so great. I like to say some of Lando's character development. It's good. After the race in the post-race interview, he was asked like, "Oh, do you think you could have caught up to Oscar?" And he was like, That doesn't really matter now. Like, the race is over. I didn't catch up to him, and Oscar deserved this one, which I thought was so great. Coming from last year where he got upset.
He also could not have cut up to Oscar because at the end of the race, he was losing time at an insane rate. It was something with his brakes. I think he had overdone them beforehand. And so by the end of the race, George Russell was behind him in third. He was like 9 seconds behind. On the last corner, he was only a second and a half behind. Like, if that race had gone on another lap, he would have been passed, which, I mean, it's not bad strategy because obviously it worked out for him, but it was definitely something that he had to be a little bit careful of.
Yeah. Speaking of brakes, poor Fernando Alonso. Oh my God, I feel terrible for him. He did not finish the race. He actually barely started the race. Like, a couple laps in, Alex Albon's like, oh yeah, Alonso's brakes are on fire. I didn't see it, but they were on fire. And yeah, it just sucks. I feel really bad for him not even finishing the first 2 races.
Agreed. It's a rough one, but someone who had a bit of an exciting race was Alex Albon because he not only scored points, but he actually was leading the race for a little bit on his birthday.
Yeah, I thought
which is super exciting.
That was so exciting, like, especially being in a Williams where you're like not even really expected that often to be in the points, leading a race. I thought that was great. I wanted it to just end there. I wanted him to win.
Yeah, no, for sure. They should have just stopped the race right there.
Mm-hmm.
However, some people after the race had very depressing news. Both the Ferraris and Pierre Gasly were disqualified after the race, which came as, I think, a shock to everybody.
Yeah, I woke up and the race for us was at 2 a.m, so I watched it in the morning. But I woke up, I look at my phone, my Face ID like showed my notifications, and I see that that Lewis was disqualified. So I didn't even get the excitement of getting to see him in the race because I already knew how it was going to end for him. But
just stop looking at your notification from the apps, man.
It wasn't. It was just because it was the latest one. So my Face ID showed the writing. Ooh. When I turned my phone up. I didn't even have the chance to clear it because it was showing.
I don't have notifications on for the F1 app because I've seen the spoilers she's gotten from it.
I love it because when shocking news happens, I get to know immediately.
That's true.
Because I can't be on Instagram at school. Anyways, Lewis, for him, his car, like the skid block under his car, I don't really know how it works. But from what I gather, like the skid blocks degrade throughout the race, and they just overestimated or underestimated how much it would degrade. So it was like below regulation.
It was an insane amount. I saw a TikTok and a guy was talking and he showed his ID, which is roughly about like my school ID, and he was like, this is the margin by which Lewis Hamilton was disqualified. Crazy. And for those who are listening, I mean, look at your driver's license. At your
any ID, any card even, honestly.
Yeah.
That's insane. I did not know that.
But like some people were like, wow, that's crazy. Like, come on, like that's nothing. But you have to draw the line somewhere. You can't be like, oh, well, you know, if you're within like 1 centimeter, then it's fine. Because then, like, what if you're within 1 centimeter of the 1 centimeter? Why isn't that okay?
Yeah. And also, I think it's just because so much stuff is like so specific in these cars. Like, they'll talk about like even like the smallest thing will ruin the car.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they have to be strict on regulations. It's just
a shame.
It's always upsetting when it's not like the driver's fault and stuff. That's what happened to him and Charles at COTA in 2023.
Yeah, and George Russell last year at Belgium.
No, his was just underweight.
Yeah, it wasn't the skid block, but like the disqualification.
Speaking of underweight cars, Charles Leclerc and Pierre Gasly. So a lot of people over the weekend were on a one-stop strategy for their car. And while they were able to do that well, much like in Belgium last year, it did not work out well for them in the end. Because when they weighed their cars, they had to be a certain weight, and the degradation on the tires was just too much, and they were underweight. So
yeah, that really is such a shame for them. For other people, it was pretty good news, such as the Williams, who were able to get double points for the first time this season because of said disqualifications, as well as the Haas. They were also able to do that. And so that's really cool because right now Williams is P4 in the constructors.
That is something I never thought I'd
hear.
That
is above Ferrari, above Aston Martin.
Although I think at least with Ferrari, I don't think we can count it as like, it's kind of like last week where we were like, oh, McLaren and Mercedes are tied, but we had to think about Oscar was out. They would not be above Ferrari if they hadn't both gotten disqualified this
True.
season. But it's still impressive.
But also, like
nonetheless.
last week at Australia, Alex Albon was just so strong
Yeah.
in comparison to both of the
No,
Ferraris.
for sure. It's so impressive. Like, whatever they put in their car this year,
Right?
it worked.
I'm really happy for them. I'm really happy for Haas. I'm a big Haas fan after I read Gunther Steiner's book last year. And I'm also a big Lance Stroll fan, and he's been doing fantastically.
Nobody's talking about it. Everybody just hates on him. But what did he get in the race?
In the race, he finished in the points for sure.
Look at that. Yeah, I mean, it's great. Like, nobody ever talks about him, but he's actually, like, just because his dad owns the team, like, it doesn't make a difference. Like, he's a solid driver.
He's 8th in the World Championship right now, again above both Ferraris.
Yeah, they've had a rough start to the season.
Yes, they have.
I really thought, I was so hopeful after the sprint race. I was like, okay, they're going to pull it together. Like, Lewis is going to win tomorrow. So, we saw how that turned out.
Yes, we did.
It's okay.
That is okay. Now, on to one of our favorite segments, our Driver Song Connections. Our Driver Song Connections. Today we're going to do, I think, someone a lot of people have heard of and kind of connected with this driver, but we're excited to just look at it a bit deeper, is Who's Afraid of Little Old Me from the Tortured Poets department. Yeah. As Max Verstappen.
So this is definitely a very, very popular connection. Like, all the edits after, like, Tortured Poets came out were every edit to that song was basically Max Verstappen.
That we saw.
Yeah, probably. We got to think of our demographic. But I think it'll be great. So here, wait, let me see the lyrics. Sorry. You can start.
So basically, this song is about someone who is like a nice person, gentle, calm, but they kind of went through something pretty extreme, which is kind of like made them a more harsh, fearsome character. So one of like the big lyrics is, sorry, I blinked. I know it. I was tame, I was gentle till the circus life made me mean. And so again, like, no one knows who he could have become, but like that pressure that he faced at such a young age to become so dominant in racing definitely, for sure, like added a different level of aggression to his character. Like, everybody remembers that one scene in Drive to Survive when he pushes Esteban Ocon.
Oh, they love to use that one.
They love to use that one because it's quite jarring, I mean, to put your hands on somebody else. But I was looking at this TikTok the other day, and it was like a story about like when Max Verstappen first entered Formula One, and he was like only 17, and he like brought like his little like simulator to the race, and he was like, "Guys, can you help me carry this?" And everyone just laughed at him because they were like,
Stop.
"You're an F1 driver. Why are you bringing a simulator?"
I love that he still does sim racing all the time.
Like, look how it worked out. Like,
yeah.
Jesus Christ, leave my man alone. And my baby was only 17, and everyone was so mean to him. So, yeah.
I love seeing, like, all the videos of him and Kimmy now because everyone's like, Kimmy's the youngest on the grid by far, and that was Max. So Max doesn't want the same thing to happen to him. And that story makes me think of that, like, even more. I think it's so cute, like, the bond they've made. I thought it was great that he's just, like, doing that for other drivers.
Yes, for sure.
I think just in general, like, the Who's Afraid of Little Old Me, you should be, just kind of the same thing. It's like he's coming in at 17. People are laughing at him, but he's like, look at me. I'm about to win 4 back-to-back championships and beat a ton of records and become, like, one of the best. Mm-hmm. And what are you going to do? Probably get fired.
No, yeah. Like, you should be afraid, babe. He's going to take your victory.
Yeah.
And then just, like, the whole bridge is so good, I think. It's like, so tell me everything is not about me, but what if it is? And it's just like, for over a year, all anybody was concerned with was beating Max Verstappen. Mm-hmm. That is what car development was about. That is what
the goal.
Training your drivers was about. That is what every single little thing that went into the sport was about. So, like, yeah, they were obsessed with him. Like,
yeah. But, everything, like, for a good reason.
Yeah, everything was meant to take him down.
Yeah, exactly. And then also just, like, I want to snarl and show you just how disturbed this has made me. You wouldn't last an hour in the asylum where they raised
I
me.
love that line.
Is that not literally his whole childhood? Like, obviously we weren't there, but he's made so many comments about growing up with his dad. Like, he didn't even live with his sister and mom because his dad wanted him to focus on like the racing and stuff. Like, they didn't live together. Like
Anybody
all
else
those,
probably would have crumbled under
yeah,
that.
and all those casual videos where like that one with Daniel Ricciardo where he's like stabbing something with a fork and Max is like, I think my dad did that to a mechanic once. Like, he like jokes about it, but then like the gas station story, like he definitely like went
Yeah.
through a lot, and I think it's just so amazing that he hasn't really let that get to his head. I know a lot of people think that and think, oh my god, he's such a whiny brat when he doesn't get his way, like he's such a terrible person, but I feel like if you actually are like looking at Max as a person, you're gonna see like that's not what he's like. He's actually like a really like sweet person who like is doing his best to be like a good person in this sport.
Yeah. And quick side note, a ton of people criticized Taylor Swift when she dropped that line because they were like, have you seen her childhood home? She basically grew up in a mansion. What do you mean you wouldn't last an hour in the asylum where they raised me? Like, I'm sorry you don't have critical thinking skills. I'm sorry you're not good at like literacy and analysis, but that's obviously not what she meant. She didn't mean the literal home where they raised her. She meant growing up in front of the media where everybody scrutinized every single thing, something that would kill so many other people, that has killed so many other people who crumble under pressure by dealing with drugs and alcohol. Like, no, you wouldn't last an hour in the asylum where they raised her. Why are you like, yes, she grew up rich. That does not affect everything she's been through since she's gotten famous.
Yeah. Crazy statement. I was talking, my dad's friend was from out of town recently. And I was talking to somebody else who was there. Anyways, and I mentioned the podcast and she goes, yeah, once we saw Taylor Swift when she was like 15, we were like front row when she was opening for like some other person. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. I love that so much.
Like front row for young Taylor Swift before she was a thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was shocked.
No, that is crazy. And then the bridge continues, kind of what Tori was saying about people calling him a drama queen and whining. One of the lyrics is, "I'm always drunk on my own tears," which is pretty crazy. It's like, I'm always drunk on my own tears. Isn't that what they all said? Like, yes, he reacts very harshly sometimes, but he like all of them do. The spotlight just happens to be on him.
Yeah.
And to be a world champion, you kind of have to have that mentality. If one thing goes wrong, you have to be pissed because that's just like deterring you from achieving your goal.
Especially when he's like doing so well and then it like something goes wrong. Of course, like I feel like it'd be weird if you didn't get upset because then what are you doing here? And also like that'll sue you if you step on my lawn, things like that. It's just like everybody just assumes he's this terrible person who just if he doesn't get his way, he's going to make it everybody's problem.
Including with the following line that I'm fearsome and I'm wretched and I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Just kind of fits into that as well. And then I think the outro of this song is so pretty, but it says, "You caged me and then you called me crazy." Again, that just kind of fits into what we've been saying. If you go through this experience, like that brutal childhood that he kind of had, you're bound to come out of it a little bit differently. And also, like, everybody who was sick of his dominance was so rude and aggressive to him online, sometimes in person. People would like boo at him. And so, like, you treat somebody this way, and then you're like, well, look how they reacted. Like, well, that's just crazy. They're like evil. Like, no, babe, you put them in that position.
Yeah. Also, real quick, like above that, like I was tame, I was gentle till the circus life made me mean. I was kind of thinking like young Max Verstappen, and then he was like the circus life, not obviously, but then his dad like raising him around racing and expecting so much of him, like giving him that mentality. I don't know. I don't think he did.
Maybe not. Maybe that was like in my head.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
So yeah, this is just a really great parallel to his life and his experience, and just like when you're trying your best to be like a good person, but everyone around you just makes it so hard.
Yeah, I think he's like more recently, especially like with this season, we've seen him kind of step back from that a lot and being like, I'm not going to deal with the media. You're not going to make me look good. Like, I don't owe you anything. I'm here to drive. and that's it. And I love that for him. Like, he's protecting his peace, and I love that.
Yeah, see, he is somebody who gets to say, I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to win.
Yeah.
Because
And as he should.
he should. Because he is and he does.
But it's also like, he does have friends. He's not a terrible
Yeah,
person like Liam Lawson, who has
he
beef
doesn't
with
say those things, but he would have the right to.
Even him and George, who had massive beef at the end of last year, have fixed things. If they can fix things, how come Liam can't? With Yuki. It's been going on for long enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So true. Preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so we're just going to finish things off with a game today. This is one of our fun ones, I think. Yeah. We're going to play Word Chain. I kind of like this one. Like,
I like it too. It's just really stressful.
It is stressful. So Word Chain is, we're going to say either a Driver or a Taylor Swift song, and the following person has to say another one of those things that starts with the last letter of the aforementioned thing.
Okay.
It's complicated to explain, but like, you've all played it, you know.
Make sense.
Whether it's like with animals or colors, whatever, everyone's played it.
Who wants to start?
Well, what are we starting with? Drivers or songs?
I thought we would just do
like
both.
A mixture.
We like to combine both. So anything F1 and Taylor Swift you can think of, it goes.
Like including teams, albums, and stuff?
Like team principals. I say anything.
Team principals? Boyfriends, girlfriends? Or no?
I feel like that's too...
Oh, that one's too far.
Well, that's not directly like F1.
What about pets?
No.
No pets.
No. People.
Fine.
Okay. I feel like for Taylor Swift, it's more like just like songs or albums.
Okay.
And then Drivers, it's like teams.
And principals.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to start?
Yeah. Okay, let's start off with a new one that we haven't done before. Ollie Behrman.
Ooh, okay. So that ends with an N. So I have to say something that starts with an N now. And I'm going to say... Ooh, I like you haven't trained for this. No Body, No Crime.
Okay, wait, what is that? E?
Yes.
Evermore.
Okay, that's another E. Esteban Ocon.
And Nico Hulkenberg.
Oh, that's a good one. G. George Russell.
Of course. What is that? L?
It is.
Lavender Haze.
Ooh, that's a good one. E. Everything Has Changed.
D. Wait, now I just like...
Wait, when you start,
no, stop
like,
talking, you're gonna make it worse. Actually, no, keep talking, and then I have a reason not to answer.
Okay, it's just like when you start thinking of something and you can't, and it doesn't come to mind, you start panicking, which makes it so much harder.
Can I say past driver?
Yeah.
Daniel Ricciardo.
Okay. O. Oh no, you already said Ollie Behrman. Okay. Give me
You can have a little bit of time because I had time while you were talking. So this game is literally so stressful. It's like you're just really put on the spot, and then I swear after it's over.
Oscar Piastri.
Okay, there you go. I can like think of everything. Okay, Isaac Hadjar.
R. Red.
Okay, another D. Oh my god. I feel like there has to be someone on the grid with a D. Is there not? Jack Doohan. No, Doohan.
That doesn't count.
Yeah, I'm going with Doohan.
You can't do that.
I can't. Okay. Give me another second then.
Okay, we're gonna give it another second because that rule had to just be clarified right now. For the record, I can think of a Taylor Swift song with a D.
Okay, but thank you very much.
I'm talking, so it's not awkward pause when I give you this much time.
Oh my god, I know there's something. Let me just think through my mind of her music.
Okay, but you only have 5 more seconds.
Okay, no, I don't have 5 more seconds.
Now she has 5 more seconds.
Dear John?
Yeah!
Oh my god,
I got it!
I did it! Okay.
Got way too much time, but she got it.
Not the point.
Okay, N. Nico Rosberg.
Oh, it's a good one. What is that? G?
It is.
Did you say getaway car already?
No.
Okay, then getaway car. I don't know, for some reason I thought you said that.
Okay. R. Huh. There's like a Ronald or something.
There is no Ronald that I can think of.
A Rick.
Ricardo, but you took that rule away.
Ronaldo.
Wrong sport? Okay, you got this. You gave me time. I'll give you time. We'll be lenient for our first round. It's gonna get harder every episode.
Sorry.
Okay, I'll cut it out.
What letter is that? R?
R.
Okay.
Yeah, was that on purpose to get yourself more time?
You found my strategy.
I can't even think of an R. Wait, no, I thought of one.
Right where you left me.
That's what I just thought of.
See, it wasn't fake. It was real.
I'm gonna cut that out, so they're not gonna know.
Okay.
I don't think they want to hear you sneezing that close and personal. Okay, what was that? E?
E.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed. I have one.
Okay. I feel like it's right there.
It probably is right there.
Thanks.
You're so
That makes
welcome.
me feel really good.
I'm a philanthropist like that.
Of course. There's no other drivers with an E, right?
Not to memory.
No. Darn. Okay, let me think songs. Give me just a second.
We're gonna give her a second to think, a second to lock in. If you can think of one,
okay,
drop a comment on anything. Are you close to it?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Am I like?
I don't know where your train of thought
I don't
is.
either.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Can I get a hint?
No.
Okay. Wait. Okay, this is distracting
Of course
me.
not.
Dang it! I always lose this game.
She low-key does always lose this game.
E. Oh my God! What starts with an E?
If any of you guys think you can do a better job than her, you can always reach out to us. We're always looking for people to interview on our podcast. Can you lose already?
Yeah.
Okay. Enchanted!
Oh my God!
Yay! I defend my streak.
Okay. Whatever. Next time we play this, I'll be back and I will be fantastic.
For sure. All right. Well, we had a short episode today.
Yeah.
But
Nothing happened. Really.
Always thank you guys for tuning in and for listening. If you have any idea about driver song connections or games to play or just anything for us to talk about, please reach out to us. We are at Cut the Headlights Podcast on Instagram and on TikTok.
Yeah, and so go follow us on there. We have some amazing posts, and we will be back in 2 weeks for Suzuka.
All right, we'll see you guys then. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay,
great success.
We don't.
Hi, mommy.